Welcome everybody. And I guess people just coming in a little bit, but this is like the first thing I want you to focus on, because the first couple of slides give you a little bit of what I'm going to talk about today. And I typed it in the chat, but I need to apologize. I'm going to take you through a roller coaster real fast, because I used to taught this in grad school, 1 to 2 semester, but I'm putting it into 30 minutes. So bear with me, and there's gonna be a lot of questions, but it's okay. I dedicate 1/3 of this session for you all to be able to ask questions. This is supposed to give you a bird's eye view, holistic overview of what fund development, and a little bit of the how-to. And the bonus is like you will decide which area you really want to focus on, then we can talk later. Okay, so here we go. Would you be able to put that survey of fund development? What does fund development means to everybody? That one polling.
Yep.
Thanks. And while you're putting, I'll keep talking. If you can remember the next 30 minutes, one thing I want you to take home is fund development equals to relationship building. And what does it really means? It will come in that I can explain a little bit more to you. So go ahead, fill in the polling so that I can see what is your impression or what's your paradigm about fundraising to you.
So go ahead and use the menti.com URL on a mobile device or even on the computer that you're currently using, and insert the code 8302142, found right there. And give us your thoughts, what you think. Yeah. What is fundraising?
It needs to be just popped up one word or 2 words at most. What is fundraising to you? So that we can see the polling cloud where we're at. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, no long answer. 1 or 2 words that can pop up that you can just call it. It need to be what you think of right away. Doesn't matter it's negative or positive, it's okay. No answer is model answer. It's just where we're at so that I can engage you at that level. Dylan, tell me when I should continue.
All right, it seems like we have 5 or so responses, and they keep on coming in.
Okay. Let's give them another 20 seconds, then we'll move on.
Sounds good.
So you see the word, the first come out, transactional. Now it's bigger one is sustainability. I see mobility, necessary, difficult, persistence, support, relationship. Oh, all right. Communication. Any more? Scary. Yes, we all share that part. Yeah, that's exactly why I want to deal with the frame of mind first, because it is so important to take you out from that scary mode, because you are not asking for money per se. All right, let's go back to my screen. Let's stop here. Should I share screen again or?
Yeah, just share right over me.
There we go. Okay. So this is 2 words I want you to remember and practice. And by the end of the 30 minutes, you will know why I put that 2 words. Is the take home. So fundraising is not about asking for money. It is about nurturing and winning people to your cause. Remember that you have a mission. And then at the end of the day, what does it turn out? That is my own definition. When I do this, I want to develop leadership and ownership. Okay, so let's go. So Dylan, you control my flow. Okay, you keep my pace and tell me if I too fast or too slow. So everybody will first ask, where's the money? Where's the money? I just give you something that ask for a gift is not about raising money. So you ask, it is what? Okay, remember this is your approach. It is about giving donor a way to put their value into action. So in other words, it's a meaningful partnership. You're not coming to asking for a handout. You're actually giving meaning to the donor, to their money where they put at. So you provide a solution to some social issue or certain cause, and then you involve them so that their money can turn into meaningful action. Got that? Okay? Okay, next round. All right, I should have a couple of polling comes out, is it? Or is it later? Am I on the right track?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to tell everybody where you ask, where's the money come from and where are they going? First, I put out a 2017 pie chart. And remember, this is only USA. I'm only talking about USA. The charitable giving USA from this 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 major categories. The 70%, 16, 9, 5, individual foundation bequest. Bequest is also can be part of individual, but it is the planned giving. A little different, I can elaborate a little bit more. Corporation is 5%. And percentage doesn't mean anything until you put a real number to it. And I want to give you the 2017, this pie is 410 billion. Yes, it's with a B, just USA. So you know where you at. And if you tell me, oh, my focus and want to get the money is from the smaller section of the pie, then you can tell yourself, oops, maybe I spend most of my effort on the smaller return. This is only just to get you a sense of where you should put your energy and focus to from the individual. Okay, next slide. And does anybody read that 2 article, particularly the 1992, Invisible and in Need?
From the feedback I got, it seemed like there weren't too many people who read the articles.
Okay,
unfortunately.
That's fine. But
do you want to pull them on it?
Want to read it afterwards. I just want to point out, back in 1992, the whole pie is less than 200 million. It's about 170. And at that time, charitable giving to AAPI community, listen, in 1992 is 0.2%. 0.2. All right, I'll give out one of the question answer. So I'm not going to give you more, but bear with me. Then the next chart, I want you to see where the money going to. Can you see? It might be a little small, but I want to let everybody know, don't worry about taking picture or copy it down. After you fill in the survey at the end. All of this PowerPoint will be available to you to your email address. So I just want to spend the time, absorb as much as possible, and create your question, and let's think of a way, see how you could find those gold mines. Where are this money go? You can see the biggest portion go to the religion, means faith-based. We're talking about churches, Buddhist temple, synagogue, a mosque, all this. That is 31%. Second is education, and so on and so forth. You can see human service, you can see public sector, arts and culture, international, environmental. Those are 2017. So now I will throw out a couple questions, see if Dylan helped me to put it on. But I want to also tell you, it sounds a lot of money, 400 some billion dollars, but divided by how many of nonprofit or charitable organization. So give some thought, and now you will go into a few polling questions, kind of stir up your mind. So please take it over, Dylan.
So our first question is what percentage of philanthropic giving was to APIA groups in 1992, but now? We heard that 1992 was 0.2%. So what do we think it is now in 2017, 2020? And once again, just go ahead to www.menti.com and use that code right up above. I'd highly encourage you just go ahead and leave it on your phones, as we'll be using this a lot throughout the course of this webinar. Seems like a lot of people are favoring the 2%. Oh. And you go ahead and prove me wrong.
Yeah, feel free to chime in, because it will get you to that frame of mind or understanding. And don't worry, if you haven't read that 2 article, you can get it afterward, because some of the information in there actually is very valuable. The 1992 that APIP report, it was from some of my colleagues. That was the time I first learned AAPI definition is more than 45 countries, over 100 different languages. That is like my learning curve from get to know. And someone asked, what is the link to the survey? It is at the top of the slide. You can see the menti.com and use the code. But anyway, this is just for fun. So don't worry if you can't get it. You copy this, because there's going to be a few more questions coming. Okay,
all right.
Let's go to the next one.
So our next question is, like you asked, how many charitable organizations are there in the US? We have $410 billion going around, but how many people are taking slices of that pie?
So remember, the last question has 2 parts. One is, what is 1992's percentage and what is now? And I see people thinking differently, but I'm going to give you all the answer at the end of this field question. After Dylan asked me, I will disclose. All right, tell me anytime. I'm ready.
All right. I think we can wait for maybe 2 more answers, 2 more responses from our live survey.
Okay, go ahead. So remember what you choose. So when I disclose, then you know how close you are in. All right, next one.
All right. Also, once again, while we're in this survey session, just want to remind you that you can use that Q&A box found at the bottom of your Whova window. It's a great way to connect with us, and we'll have a lot of question and answers at time at the end. All right, Anthony, would you like to take it away?
Yeah, thank you. So you have your number. I'm glad that quite a few people get it right too, but let me do that. All right, now, the first question, remind me, what is that?
The total percentage of donated money to API.
Right, it is 1.5 million of charitable organization currently competing with this pie. And I want to answer the question is like, why we want to roll this out as a whole series, because remember 1992, the percentage of money going to AAPI community is 0.2%. Although the pie is bigger, nowadays people look at 2019, quite a few people get it right, is little under $450 billion. It's 46 or 49 something, but it's close enough. And then I also get a question from the field, which I will answer a little bit later. Everybody worry about what happened to 2020. Okay, let me get you to another question, the part two of the number one. So what about current percentage that going into AAPI community? Can anyone guess? I am sad to say, although the pie increased, the money increased, dollar sign increased, the percentage stayed pretty much the same. Isn't it pitiful? Yes, we have a long way to go. We have a long way to go because of that. But I wanted to give you a lot of information in this graph. Here, look at it. I'll give you another 10 seconds. It has a lot of information. It's 2019, $449.64 billion. And giving majority, I would say the larger part is also by individual. And I can tell you for the last five years, 4 of the 5 years, they have been increasing the individual bracket at a 4.7% each year, number-wise. Same way going to foundation and corporation. Bequest is little stay flat. For those who didn't know what is bequest, have you heard of plan giving? I'll give a most concrete and easy example, such as someone put you or put your organization in their will. When they pass away, those money goes to your organization. And in fact, there is a lot of way to increase that, but because of the tax law, last couple of years, it go up and then now it stay flat. All right, I don't want to stay on this too much because this is only to whet your appetite, suppose. Let me go into another one. I want you to see this. This is the federal budget of 2019. I want to tell you, you are the major contributor. Why? You look at the revenue. Yes, you're not having any eyesight problem. It is in T, $3.5 trillion. And the majority are from individual income tax and payroll tax. And if you look at the outlay, where it goes out, a good part with Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and there's also a good chunk of discretionary spending, defense, and non-defense. This is only to let you know what kind of scale and perspective. Okay, I take you out of the space and have a bird's eye view. Now let's start touching ground. Let's go into this one. This is where I want to focus more of my time for the next two bullets. And Dylan, how I'm doing with time, and I'm okay or I'm on track?
We're definitely running a little slow if we want to give extra Q&A time.
All right, cool. All right, let's speed up. Traditional fund development program. Two major categories, contribute and earned. Contributes, you look at from government. Government also have three major sectors, federal, state, and local. But the government funding always need a lot of reporting requirement. So you need a good infrastructure. It's a lot of time with restriction that you follow the rules. The pros is about, they have something called indirect rate. I can tell you a little bit later when we get to that. Then you look at from the contribute, you have government, you have corporation, you have foundation, you have the individual. These are the 4 pie. And with those astro, it is what I will spend a little explanation. You see the biggest one is still falling the individual. I put in an astro on the corporation because most of the people actually overlook a lot of this underneath, because when people think of corporation, they think of sponsorship. 20 years ago, there's a called social responsibility department in the corporate. But nowadays, as you know, it's all about marketing. So if you want to get corporate dollar or sponsorship, mostly like somebody put out a transaction, you need to provide something they want, then you get the money. But then I'll give you another area later that you will find you might be missing it all the time. Foundation is more follow the guideline. You need to do your homework. You need to make your foundation visit, create that, what I call relationship building. Back to the last one, but not least, this is a big part of individual. Okay. Let me go down another one. Okay. So people start to looking at, besides contribute income, there's earned income. A lot of nonprofit will do, and when you get to certain capacity, you can do it fee for service. Government or corporate will actually pay you to provide certain service to the community. Second, product and ticket sales. You're all familiar with, particularly those museums, they can sell product. For performing arts, they sell tickets. And some of them, they have facility. You can do it as a facility rental to community. So those are very traditional ones. And special events, such as you see a lot of people do gala, concert, or golf tournament. So those are not new to any of you. I just put it in that bracket. But I want to point out, most of us might overlook the corporate philanthropy. Now I'm gonna give you another page to see. This is the 10 most profitable type of corporate philanthropy program that nonprofits, if you're running, can, and you should take advantage of. This is only 10 of the most, means that there are more from matching gift, volunteer grant, fundraising match, community grant, challenge grant, payroll deduction, in-kind donation, talent or service-based donation. These are what we call the executive on loan program from the corporate that you can get. Internal employee fundraising, annual grant, stipend. But I put an asterisk on the matching gift because I see that most of us actually overlook this, what I call is a lower hanging fruit. So listen, if you want to get some immediate result and also understand what really relationship building means, I'm going to show you another slide. This is too small. You probably can't see it, but I'm going to do it from here. When you think of corporate matching gift, what do you think about? You don't need to do a thing, such as if Anthony Lay or Dylan work in Google, they give me $100 and I can ask them to fill in a form from Google. They can double or triple. Depends on which corporation you have. Most of the people didn't know, a good portion of them live in Silicon Valley. There are quite a few from Facebook, like Google, a couple of big ones. But I'm going to read some out from this so that you know whether you have friends who work in those companies. And they are normally matched 1-to-1 to 3-to-1, from as $50 to as high as 300,000. I'm not kidding. 300 grand. That is mean per staff, per year contribution they can match up to. The oldest corporate matching program in USA or in the world actually start from GE, 1954, and GE still have a solid program, 1-to-1, each staff, each year match up to 5,000. IBM 5K, American Express 8,000. I want to point out the largest volume is from Microsoft, because 65% of Microsoft staff participate in that program. And they have an annual cap at 15,000 each staff. So if you have a lot of friends there, you can actually start to mapping out your fund development program. You can even send your check to them so that they can double it for you up to their limit. Apple's 10,000, ExxonMobil 22.5, Coca-Cola 20,000, Johnson & Johnson 20,000, Pfizer 15,000. Anyone live in the Northeast or in Boston area? The most famous street called State Street. State Street Corporation match 1-to-1 up to 35,000 per staff per year. And if you have anyone work in the investment field or stock, you probably heard of Soros Fund Management. Soros, yes, that is the highest one so far I can find in US. They match 3-to-1, up to 300,000 per staff. If you have a friend work in Soros Fund, you can have him or her to chair your fund development committee. You raise all the money, send to them, and they just fill in a form, and then you can triple the money right away. Isn't it good? So are we having fun yet? Good. So that's what I say. This is only a tip of the iceberg. You might know them, but you didn't know whether you fully utilize them. And this whole list will be available to you. So don't worry that you have to copy it down. And Bristol Myers, Avon lady, do you know any Avon lady? 15,000 per year if you have a friend. MBIA, 40 grand. So I can go on and on, but these are the top matching gift company that I want to give it to you. All right, so you have a little taste of it. Let's go to the second part. Fund development bird's eye view, the non-traditional part, which the younger folks will be so excited because it is your world now. It used a lot of technology, but remember, I said this with wholeheartedly, technology is a good servant, but a bad master. And if you watch a movie called Social Dilemma from Netflix recently, you know exactly what I want. If you have people work in Google, Facebook, uh, then they will be able to tell you. But anyway, let's look at the non-traditional social enterprise. What do you mean by social enterprise? Because 20 some years ago, people start to have it as their own destiny. They want to control it. So instead of just grow a nonprofit, they want to start a business that make money, but also with a social mission. We call it double bottom line. Venture philanthropy, just like the investment, the only thing is like you invest in the people, invest into the community, invest instead of product. Donor advisor fund, giving circle, internet online, those people were about this year, I tell you, just the last 6 months, online donation in US increased drastically over 500 million, just the online. Social media, taxing, a lot of people familiar with the GoFundMe, but that is only one of many. Last but not least, digital, particularly for people who are thinking about international fundraising, like the Bitcoin will pass through those currency exchange and is fast and can go anywhere. So if you're interested, explore this a little bit because that will be another session. So what I really mean is use our imagination. Sky is only the limit, the non-traditional. Okay, let me go down to how to. Do I owe them a couple polling questions, Dylan?
We can definitely ask a couple if you'd like.
Yeah, please. I want them to pause a little bit, and because those are might be old and new information, and each one of those topics can be a session on itself. So go ahead, please.
So we're going to go ahead and take a quick look at some of our polling questions right now. We just talked about the lower hanging fruit, especially focusing on fund matching, especially with corporate donations particularly. So here we are, we have a couple lower hanging fruit, but what else can we tag on to?
Okay, maybe speed up the time while you putting on. I'm gonna tell you straight out, the most common mistake, particularly when it comes to the West Coast, people will take special event as their ATM machine for quick and easy fundraising. In some sense, it is because a little kid can sell lemonade in front of his or her home and get some money. But we are talking about a special event, whoever organized it can tell me it's labor intensive. It is friend raising more than fundraising. Because if you count on the soft cost, you spend so much energy and time. So it serves another purpose, more for the marketing, more for the donor cultivation, to present your accomplishment. So if you put your bet on special event for fundraising, you probably will drive yourself dry out or exhausted and get a lot of volunteer disappear. But you need that at least once a year. For that, we call video or visual report card. And another lower hanging fruit that we misunderstand, like I just disclosed to you, the corporate philanthropy. Why I said the relationship building, now you understand. You don't need to know the corporate CEO to get their money. If you have a whole bunch of friends that are working for Apple or working for Microsoft, they can give and they can help you to multiply your money. And if you hit a jackpot, you know someone working Soros fund management, you definitely put that person into your development chair, because whatever money you throw to their way, they will turn it into triple, all the way up to 300,000. For small nonprofit, that actually is a good friend to cultivate. Am I right? Okay.
Definitely.
Go ahead.
Also, Anthony, it seems like we're running pretty tight on time.
Oh.
So we can run this survey as anyone in the attendee audience can see, but perhaps we should continue on with the slides as well.
All right, thank you. I will do that. Let me just go ahead. Sorry, when I get excited, I got to be long-winded. And this is the fundraising cycle I want you to think of. And then after that, Dylan can put up that 2 pie chart for me. Remember that 5-step: research, cultivate, ask, thank you, and then engage. So now put that pie chart up. And I will put that fundraising cycle upside down. Go ahead. Okay, the first I talk about from research, cultivate, ask, think, and engage. That is the 5-step. But anybody involved in marketing will know your current donor is your best bet. So I turned it upside down. You start with what? Start with the engage and ask, and then thank you. Because if you have the existing friend, existing donor, you should put more time to do that and turn it into. So getting a new prospect is continue online research. All right. Okay, let's go back to my slide and next one. And I want to put a little time real quick, because this is the biggest pie. I want to give you the 6 I's of individual giving, which you hear already. Identify, begin by finding the prospect. Interest means you find a way to capture them in your institution net, means that in your radar screen. Involve, get them participate in some kind of your program, invite to your webinar, or request them to serve on your committee, attend activity. 4th, intervene, you find a means to regularly, remember, the keyword is regularly, get in their way. Now with the social media, you are much savvy than a lot of us. Invest. When you are ready to ask for the gift, they invest in your great cause. Last is influence. The most important step of all, you engage this enthusiastic investor to influence their friends and others. Remember, this is an important step. It's not just one donor. Then they'll become interested and involved in your mission, and the cycle continue. I'm not saying this with just maybe just a reminder, because using this 6I, I did raise 90 million in 4 years. Because if you focus on the step 6, how you can find those influence circle is important. And it's all tied hand in hand with how many friends you make within those corporations that I just mentioned to you. Now you have a target list. Okay, let's move. This is itself is another session, but I want you to have this. A lot of people ask me what is the easy or the for sure process. Every single word in this means something. Have the right person ask is an action. The right prospect for the right amount in the right way at the right time with the right follow-up. If you find out your fundraising program missing any part of this, that is how you fall out. And each part of it had a certain formula. So I can say to you, yes, fundraising in another word is a science. It can be calculated, it can be formulated. But after all, it's the first thing. You need to build the relationship first. Then the rest thing will fall into place. Next one. 7 P's of getting the gift. What do you need to have? You need to prepare. You need to practice. Don't go in and wing it. Poise means position. You need to position yourself as well as your organization to be able to receive the grant. Positive, no matter whether you get a no or yes, you're always positive and give thanks. Because remember one thing, no from donor is never a no. Don't take a no, it's only not yet, not yet. So it's not the dead end. Be persuasive so that you have to convince yourself first before you can convince others. Persistence, be persistent until you are consistent. Patience is gold. All right. Let's move faster as I'm running late. In asking for a gift, you must engage the 5 A's: the anticipate, the adapt, the adopt, adjust, achieve. And this is the one that I want you to take home. These are the web resources for fundraising. If you want to develop your career in fundraising, AFP, Association Fundraising Professional, that I was on board with 20 years ago, will be a good way to start. The rest of them are for you to do prospect research. Okay, I think I won't have time to go into the board fundraising, so I just leave you with that link to look at how to fundraise without asking for money, that little video. And project-based vs general operation fundraising, that was one question from the program chair, but in fact it is about internal fund accounting and intentional budgeting. If you can develop your budget that have a percentage go into your overhead, you can do that. I can show you later on. Just give you a quick example of indirect rate. If you negotiate an indirect rate from the government, every federal grant you get, the percentage will be your overhead. Means that if you negotiate a rate to 25%, some of the university I see 40%. What does it mean? Each $1 million grant you got, if you got 40%, means 400,000 can go into your overhead. You can pay bill, you can pay the light bill, security, salary, and all this without need to justify. Okay, I stop here because I promise I'll give you time to ask questions. And this is an unfinished journey, as I said. I hope this whet your appetite that fundraising has a lot more fun if you do it right. Okay, let me open up. Dylan, take it.
Yeah, we've had a couple questions come in over the course of this webinar, and I'd like to ask the first one. This is from Marcia Galanco. How do you find donations during this challenging time? It's clearly not a normal situation, what with the fires in the West and with COVID-19 all over the world. Okay, then I will know, Marcia, haven't read my second article. If you read my second article, history will repeat itself. In fact, you will be so excited. Yes, we run through by COVID-19 pandemic, but if you look at the recent 6-month figure, all of those are drastically increased. Not just USA, it's global. People actually pouring a lot more money into it. And look at my second article. The first from the government is the CARES Act. But I want to bring your attention to one organization that started in New York, 2012, called Giving Tuesday Now. If you haven't heard of this,
pay attention, study them, because in a so little time, they increased and started a movement. I still remember in May 5th, they call May Day, May 5th of this year, 2020, in one day, they encourage people to donate. That is, normally they do it on the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. But this year they started because of the COVID-19. Within 24 hours, over 500 million just in US. And so if you keep studying the figure, those are coming out more than we thought. And they even start a fund called Starling Fund, over 200,000 to give to cohort, such as you and me. Think of something we want to help the community. You can apply through it. And a couple of big supporters behind this is Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and PayPal. And we are talking about major dollars. So if you feel a little stressful, oh, what happened this year? Yes, just the last week I checked, Silicon Valley Community Foundation, just in the last few months, over 200 million that donor give to them for the COVID-19, pay for the people, the corporation, the small business, and also the anti-hate crime. So study them if you want to find out a little bit more. Okay, next question, sorry.
Yeah, our next question, this is from Huva. One of our attendees asked this question a little earlier. How do we build a nonprofit organization with such sufficient funding to sustain its operations?
Okay, well, I answered it a little bit online. Well, there's never like a quick fix, but for a nonprofit to be able to sustain their operation, first, you need to have a very clear and strategic mission that you can tell people in 15 seconds that you get yourself excited and others excited. And if you need to mumbo jumbo for a few minutes, you don't even can tell exactly what it is, go back and rewrite them. Second, it is people, the leadership. Leadership means the board and the staff together. Missing one component will not work, even though you have a star-studded executive director, but the board, it is not committed, it is not together, you still will dragging each other. So two things, as we read Jim Collins' book, From Good to Great, I remember the whole book entirely about getting the right people to the bus. Then they will know where to go. But if you get the wrong people on the bus, then it will take a lot more time and energy to get them out. The third thing is, besides you get the leadership, you need to have a roadmap. A roadmap means a 3 to 5 years strategic development plan. I'm talking about not just for money, it's institutional advancement plan. From your program, from your leadership, from the funding strategy to grow both the contributed and earned income. And that probably will be another session that I can spend a whole week to tell you about. But that is the three main factor that you can be sustainable.
All right, I definitely agree. Planning in the future, so important. I've started to learn. We also have another question. I believe it's pretty similar to our first question, but what strategies can be used during virtual fundraising for groups?
Good. Well, virtual fundraising for groups, if you are thinking this way, now is the time. Remember, I just shared with you the organization called Give Tuesday Now. If you Google it, go to the site, I will encourage you to look at their impact report. They just have a recent come out. The impact report will give you a lot of wisdom how you want to strategize or plan your, what we call the internet or digital or online fundraising program. But remember something, we cannot just be a salesman. You need to have a good product. The good product means that you need to have your mission well defined that will excite you and I before you communicate to others. You cannot just send out, just give me the money and that's it. It won't go. But if you find that human connection, that's why I keep saying that relationship building is the key. And look at that Giving Tuesday now, you will pick up so many tricks and idea that you can do the online. Okay, next one.
All right, our next question is from Jenilyn, and there's actually two questions from her. One is, her name, she is from EM Collective, and they're not a 501c3 quite yet. Should they focus on fundraising first or building the 501c3?
Okay, I would say a parallel, yes and no. If you're not a 501c3, but at least you need to incorporate. Incorporate means that you have your bylaw, you have your board, and incorporate in your own city, so it is an incorporation. While you're incorporated, you can fill out the 501c3 application. As long as you submit your application to IRS, you can start fundraising. It just, you could not give a tax deductible receipt until you receive that certificate of 501c3. But once you submit your application, you already can do that activity. And the second solution to this is you find a partner, what we call fiscal agent or fiscal sponsor. Means that you partner with another 501c3 organization, you have an MOU, and then with the mutual agreement that they handle the money for you, you provide the program, you can still fundraise. That also stay true to our grant program. If you're not 501c3, you need to have a 501c3 as your fiscal agent to apply our grant.
All right. A follow-up question from Jenilyn. She's heard of such things as financial sponsors. Is that a good strategy?
Yes. In fact, we call fiscal sponsor in a technical term. It is not the ideal strategy because that fiscal sponsor need to have a 501c3 and they will take care of the handling of money. Means that the grant will grant out, no matter it's from government, corporate, or foundation, will give out to this fiscal agent. They handle it technically. Only the partner organization is doing the work. That means that you need to take that risk. Means that you cannot arbitrarily find anyone, but that fiscal sponsor or 501c3 that you trust, and also their mission, it is similar or close enough without causing what we call the branding issue, then it will be fine.
All right. As we wait for more questions, I'd also like to direct your attention to the form that we've put in the chat at this point. Feel free to click on that link and it will take you to a Google form. That way we can connect in the future. We can get your emails so that we can send you future resources as well as this slideshow, among other resources, including the readings that we provided earlier. Definitely happy to assist you in any way. And I think that's the best way for us to connect with you is to go ahead and fill out that form. We will be able to contact you in the future because of that form, giving you additional resources as well as updates on future curriculum coming up in the next year or so for more resource development. Obviously, this is just a bird's eye view, a very quick snapshot of what you can do with resource development. There's so much more detail to this. This is at least a semester long, if not a year long seminar course. There's so much content to this and we can only fit so much in 1 hour. So we can follow up with future information as long as you just fill out that form. So just go ahead and fill out that form and we'll be able to contact you with all our resources.
Right. While you're filling up the form, I'll read something out because now I realize most of you didn't read my second article, which is your treasure trove. In such a difficult time now, corporate giving actually kind of step up. Just recently, very recently, Walmart announced a 5 years, 100 million cash commitment to fight systemic racism. For those organizations who has a mission on that, pay attention, you can apply those grants. Target just announced a 10 million commitment in an effort to advance social justice through supporting partners such as the National Urban League and African American Leadership Forum, and many more. PayPal also pledged $530 million to support Black and minority-owned business. So if you know anyone own business who are minority, you can apply. Bank of America also pledged $100 million to support critical needs of local community as a result of coronavirus. So go to their website and check this out because they won't come to you automatically. You need to seek them out. But resources are out there, as I said, because of such a critical time, you need to be the morning bird or the early bird so that you can catch the worm. I stop here and I hope it really whet your appetite because there's so much information I want to give it to you, but sorry, I can only read out the name or some of the topic. But fill out that survey so that I know in the next 15 months, what should I prepare that will be most beneficial to you. And I apologize in this way because it came out from a request of the last June. We have a conference with all the interns and intern trainer in Santa Clara. Out of the 120 people, the majority asked me for this topic. So I said, let me start tackle it, but it is such a big topic with so many areas that you can pick and choose. So any last word, Dylan?
I think we've gotten a lot of great content here. A lot of our attendees are pretty interested in filling out the forms as well as they're now reading the readings and asking for that link. So it seems like we've caught their attention and I'm happy to hear that. I have put the link for the URLs for both the Google form as well as the readings for this session in the chat. I will be putting that in the Whova chat very soon as well. We'd love to have you provide if you have any questions, we're still here for a couple more minutes and we're happy to have you and we're pleased that you enjoyed this session.
Right, and we will try to collect all the questions that I haven't been able to answer yet. Because I have to redesign this webinar because I was having a national panel, but also realized even with 90 minutes, I could not squeeze all this information to you. So I might as well just give you an intro and then you tell me which area the majority want to focus on. Then I can spend some time and invite some really heavy duty national folks come to tell you their wisdom and their experience.
Definitely. As a younger person myself, I'm all for hearing more from people who have more experience than me. And I'm so pleased that I have this opportunity to attend all these sessions.
And for those young folks who actually interested in this area, now there's actually have a degree on this. You go to Indiana, quite a few. If you go up to the AFP, the Association of Fundraising Professional, you'll find a lot more information that it can be a career track. And I can tell you, even though it's a high stress, but it's the highest pay in nonprofit. In particular, for those who want to be the executive director, CEO, president of a nonprofit, this is one skill you will need and then continue to enhance it. so that you can control your own destiny and also can help make something happen. Okay, I stop here. Any other question, feel free. I'm going to stay for a few more minutes. If you will need to ask me, post the question and Dylan will help to filter it out.
Yeah, definitely. And we're still accepting responses to our surveys, so definitely feel free to fill that out. We'll contact you once we get all that information. We'd love to provide you more. And yeah, I think my university also provides, they have a degree in nonprofit management and fund management, something like that. So yeah, it definitely exists out there nowadays.
Right. And there, particularly with the technology now, there's so many new things coming out. But remember that one slide I gave you, relationship building, that is the base. If you have a good base, you can apply it to the corporate philanthropy, foundation, individual, everything. But there is also some, I would call science, technology that you can actually make it become a systemic that can help build your nonprofit from the ground level. I don't have time to go into how to build your development office. Probably need to be saved for next time. So thank you, everyone. And thank you, Dylan. Come to the rescue because I'm a low tech guy, and when I have to do all this virtual, I kind of lost all my confidence. So thank you for making this much easier for me. So this is unfinished journey. We are just at the beginning, and let's explore it together in the next 15 months. So tell us what you like and want. We will address it. Thank you, everyone. Bye now.
All right. Thank you all for coming out, and we hope to see you in other NCLF sessions.